Tommy Franks, who said after 9/11, General Tommy Franks, America is just one terrorist attack away from a military state. He said that, and I think he knew what he was talking about. A military takeover of the country. He said the American people will demand it. So it would be, even worse than, say, what we saw in World War II, internment of Japanese American citizens and things of that nature. It would be very serious.
So it's the perfect takeover. They get to move their chess pieces around the world, destabilize the planet, use proxy states, kamikazes, bombard other nations from the air, and have domestic police state crackdowns in Airstrip 1 England and the United States, and put out DHS lists leaking liberals, conservatives, gun owners, openly say Homeland Brigade, openly turn the United States into a total police state. My God, they are really doing it. Do you think they'll get away with it? I mean, are these guys so bold? Is there no end? Is the public mesmerized by Michael Jackson? Will America completely descend into total military rule?
Well, I'm afraid they've been mesmerized by Barack Obama. You have to look at what Obama and his henchmen and his henchwomen are doing here, and not what Obama is saying. He's a far smoother political character than Bush was. At least Bush, pretty much said what he meant what he said, and you could really see it. Whereas with Obama, the rhetoric, the propaganda, the press conferences, very smooth, very reassuring. But the policies, as you point out, are just continuing and, in some extent, accelerating. Even Senator McCain, in the campaign, when Obama said that he was going to launch a tax on Pakistan, Senator McCain, to his credit, criticized Obama and said he was not going to do that. And you have this massive escalation in Afghanistan now. No authorization from the UN Security Council. No authorization from the United States Congress is required by the War Powers Resolution. And then expanding the war into Pakistan, very reminiscent of the massive escalation into Vietnam. Indeed, today they admitted, well, yeah, we really need about at least 100,000 American troops in Afghanistan. Well, the Soviets had 100,000 troops in Afghanistan, and they still lost. This is very dangerous, and like Nixon then spreading the Vietnam War to Cambodia, setting off a coup d'etat there, resulting in the Khmer Rouge coming to power and genocide.
Which Brzezinski brags he supported, and then that goes back to the Rockefellers again. In closing then, Dr. Boyle, does it look 60-40, 60% chance they're going to go ahead and launch World War III? I mean, what do we do to put pressure on them? Is there any hope, or is it just all the fad of Obama, and that's the end of it, and that's the end of the republic?
Well, I think, it really is up to you and me and the American citizens. Most American people here don't want war against Iran. We don't want World War III. And we're going to have to get organized and stop these people. I also noticed, even in the Pentagon, the Admiral Mullen, in response to the Biden threat against Iran, said that an attack on Iran would be a bad idea. So I think in their heart of hearts, the professional military people realized this would be insane. But hey, the war against Iraq was insane too.
Well, that goes back to Fox Fallon. I mean, that goes back to Fox Fallon. Phelan, he didn't want to attack Iran and resigned over that. So
Bush fired him. That's pretty clear. Bush got rid of him and forced Admiral Fallon out because he was going public with the Bush neocon plans to attack Iran, and Admiral Fallon did the best he could to blow the whistle and stop it, to, I think, his great credit.
So that's the silver lining.
Admiral Fallon.
So that's the silver lining in this cloud, is that the neocons, one, and now the neocons, two, reincarnated with the slicker, kind of New Order closer, Barack Obama, they're almost giving orders like Hitler to armies that don't exist, or will they just go ahead and give the order and it's going to be followed?
I really don't know. I don't even know if they know. You know, if the Pentagon were ordered to attack Iran, would they carry out that order? Clearly, Fallon made it clear he wasn't going to do it. The problem there, however, is the neocon connection with Israel, which is why Biden's threat is so dangerous. That if the neocons, and Biden's one of them, conclude that the Pentagon would not attack Iran and resist the orders, they'll just have Israel do it. And then, you know, Iran will retaliate against us, and the war will be off.
Well, I mean, I'm no geopolitical whiz kid, but this is in sheer insanity to attack Iran, especially if you even believe the CIA's assessment. They're 7 years from a primitive nuke, and then you find out the West helped give North Korea its nukes with the same old suspects. Donald Rumsfeld on the board of ABB. They're out there throwing down guns to these third world countries like an old Western villain and then saying, pick up the gun, kid, so they can shoot them. And it's obvious the real target is having a war so they can domestically loot us, but have the rally around the flag effect.
I'm afraid you're right. Yeah, as Bush said, you know, a dictatorship is a lot easier as long as he's a dictator. Sure.
Now the people are waking up to Obama, though. I mean, as polls are dropping, a lot of people are figuring out that the cult of Obama is a fraud, is a scam. But then that almost encourages him to go ahead and launch a war, doesn't it?
I really don't know. I think, you know, the signs are not very good, especially the Biden threat.
Okay.
It was just reprehensible. And I think, you know, for the good of our republic and for the good of humanity, we're going to have to go all out and stop this neocon agenda for war against Iran and the destabilization and crack up of Pakistan. Understand, Pakistan has nukes. Who knows what would happen if Pakistan were to crack up.
All right. Well, we appreciate Dr. Francis A. Boyle joining us briefly. Tell us about the new book, Tackling America's Toughest Questions, Alternative Media Interviews.
Right. This book tries to go back to September 11th. It starts there and deals with all the atrocities that the Bush administration and his neocons inflicted on the United States Constitution, the Bill of Rights, international law, and human rights, and world order, literally until they walked out of office by giving Israel the green light to blow up Gaza and literally exterminate 1,400 Gazans for nothing at all. And then, you know, there's a brief conclusion, you know, where I say, you know, that unfortunately it looks like under Obama we're going to have a continuation of many of the Bush policies sort of flavored by a lot of the Clinton people. And remember, the Clinton people, all the Clinton foreign affairs people, these are the sons and the daughters of the best and the brightest that gave us the Vietnam War, as documented by David Halberstam. Remember, McNamara just died yesterday. I'd encourage you to read The Best and the Brightest. John Kennedy was elected president, recruited the best and the brightest from Harvard, and they gave us the Vietnam War. They gave us the Cuban Missile Crisis. They gave us ICBMs and SLBMs, etc. So this is the next generation of these elitists, and Obama is one of them. You know, a bright young man from Harvard Law School, a charming wife. You know, I forget, Jackie went to Vassar. Well, Michelle, you know, went to Princeton and Harvard Law School. And, you know, it looks like a bit of history all over again.
God help us. Well, I hope to talk to you again in the near future. Take care, Doctor.
All right. Thanks a lot, Alex. Again, my best to your listening audience. But, you know, let's get out there and get organized. That's what we have to do. We have to stop these people.
Absolutely. Take care.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, that's what they do. They wrap themselves in the flag and then just engage in every treason you can imagine while looting and robbing the public. and they say, hey, look, the Iranians look different from us. Let's kill them. And the average American says, okay, let's murder